Marilyn Monroe was one of the most famous and glamorous actresses of her time. She had millions of fans and admirers, but she also had many troubles and insecurities. She was married 3 times, but none of her marriages lasted. She had affairs with powerful men, but none of them gave her the love and respect she craved. She suffered from depression, anxiety, and addiction, and often felt lonely and unhappy. One of her most memorable moments was when she sang Happy Birthday to President John F. Kennedy at Madison Square Garden on May 19, 1962. She wore a tight-fitting, sheer dress that sparkled with thousands of rhinestones, and she sang in a breathy, seductive voice that captivated the audience and the president. It was rumored that she and Kennedy had a secret affair, and that the song was a public declaration of their love. But what many people don't know is that Monroe had a hard time getting to the event. She was supposed to fly from Los Angeles to New York on May 18th, but she missed her flight because she overslept. She had taken too many sleeping pills the night before, and no one could wake her up. She finally arrived in New York on May 19th, just hours before the show. She checked into a hotel and tried to rest, but she was too nervous and excited. She called her friend and acting coach, Paula Strasberg, and asked her to come over and help her rehearse. Strasberg arrived with a tape recorder and played the song for Monroe. Monroe practiced several times, but she was not satisfied with her performance. She felt that she sounded too flat and dull. She decided to change the arrangement of the song and make it more playful and flirty. She asked Strasberg to record her new version, and then played it back to hear how it sounded. She liked it better, but she still felt that something was missing. She thought that maybe if she added some pauses and giggles, it would sound more natural and charming. She tried again, this time adding some pauses and giggles at strategic places. She played it back and listened carefully. She smiled and nodded. She felt that this was it. This was how she wanted to sing Happy Birthday to Kennedy. She thanked Strasberg for her help and told her to keep the tape as a souvenir. She then got ready for the show. She put on her stunning dress, which was so tight that she had to be sewn into it. She applied her makeup, fixed her hair, and sprayed some perfume. She looked at herself in the mirror and felt confident and beautiful. She took a taxi to Madison Square Garden and arrived just in time for her cue. She walked on stage amid cheers and applause, holding a microphone in one hand and a bouquet of roses in the other. She saw Kennedy sitting in a box seat with his wife Jackie and other dignitaries. She smiled at him and winked. She then sang Happy Birthday in her new style, pausing and giggling as planned. The crowd loved it. They laughed and clapped along with her. Kennedy loved it too. He blushed and smiled back at her. He looked enchanted by her. When she finished singing, she said, "Mr. President, I have a gift for you." She handed him the roses and kissed him on the cheek. He thanked her warmly and hugged her back. The crowd gave them a standing ovation. They cheered for Monroe and Kennedy, chanting their names. Monroe felt happy and proud. She felt that she had done well. She felt that she had made Kennedy happy too. She left the stage feeling triumphant. But little did she know that someone else had heard her rehearsal tape. It was Jackie Kennedy. She had secretly followed Strasberg to Monroe's hotel room earlier that day, hoping to find some evidence of their affair. She had seen Strasberg leave with the tape recorder in her handbag. She had followed her again to Madison Square Garden, where she had managed to sneak into her dressing room while she was busy with Monroe. She had taken the tape recorder from Strasberg's handbag without anyone noticing. She had listened to the tape while waiting for Monroe's performance. She had heard Monroe's original version of Happy Birthday, which was flat and dull. She had heard Monroe's new version of Happy Birthday, which was playful and flirty. She had heard Monroe's pauses and giggles, which were meant to seduce Kennedy. She had heard everything. And she was furious. She decided to get back at Monroe and Kennedy. She decided to ruin their night. She decided to play the tape for the world to hear. She waited until Monroe finished singing and left the stage. She then took the microphone and said, "Ladies and gentlemen, I have a surprise for you. I have a tape of Marilyn Monroe rehearsing her song for the president. I think you will find it very interesting. Please listen carefully." She then played the tape for everyone to hear. The crowd was shocked and silent. They heard Monroe's original version of Happy Birthday, which was flat and dull. They heard Monroe's new version of Happy Birthday, which was playful and flirty. They heard Monroe's pauses and giggles, which were meant to seduce Kennedy. They heard everything. And they were disgusted. They booed and hissed at Monroe and Kennedy, calling them names. They threw things at them, such as popcorn, soda cans, and rotten eggs. They demanded that they leave the building immediately. Monroe and Kennedy were humiliated and ashamed. They ran out of the building as fast as they could, dodging the angry mob. They got into a car and drove away, hoping to escape the scandal. But they couldn't escape it. The tape was broadcast on radio and television all over the country. The press had a field day with it. The public was outraged by it. Their reputations were ruined by it. Their careers were damaged by it. Their lives were changed by it. And they never saw each other again. The moral of the story is, don't cheat on your spouse, or you might get caught in a very embarrassing way.
Thank you for listening. For more stories like this, please consider subscribing.